It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report, and the friendly reminder that this video was recorded on April 11th, 2025, just in case any other news ends up happening. If you end up missing the show, it's all good. You can always make sure to subscribe, tune in, hit those notification bell. That way you can join all of our mailbag shows that we end up doing. First one coming here from Kai. Gruden liked Howard, and he's growing on me. What do you think about us getting him in the third round or getting him in the second if we trade back? I want absolutely no part of Will Howard in the second or third round. If you want to target him on day 3, round 4 is even a little bit too early for me. I know that OSU just won a championship with Will Howard, but then here's the other part of it. And we just got to be real with this. Any person that John Gruden likes in the draft should scare the absolute hell out of you, and I know he's an entertaining dude. And I hope that John Gruden keeps doing his quarterback camp thing because it is a very entertaining thing. But taking draft advice from John Gruden is like taking financial advice or math advice from me. I don't think anybody should do it. Let's go to Crash Dog. We can't afford all the injuries again this year. Do you think Pete brought his own strength and conditioning team or at least made some changes? So we did actually add 2, funny enough in your picture too, strength and conditioning coaches this season. I also know that we're keeping our main guys, which, Max Crosby, one of his best friends is Rick Slate, who's one of our head strength and conditioning coaches. Still got Deuce Gruden in the mix into that as well. But there's also a new NFL rule, and I forget what video it was. We did it about 2 weeks ago that talked about the importance of being able to add extra players at the end of the year for playoff teams if you do run into a lot of injuries. But then also the way that the Raiders are being built this season, they're being built to be able to sustain injuries. Because last year, we were not great from depth perspective at all. And this year, that's going to change. What up, Ryan? Mitch and Chugs, happy Friday to y'all. Appreciate that. If we don't take Sanders or Genty, I would say take linebacker Jalen Walker because Chicago wants Genty, and I feel as well the Saints want Sanders. Hey, Chugs. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that's either a WWE. Chug said Gunther. I'm not going to – I saw Gunther, and I thought Paul Gunther. And I was like, I don't want to talk about Paul Gunther ever again. Jalen Walker, though, is somebody that is actually starting to pop up on the Raiders' radar. I did a video last week saying this is somebody to keep an eye out. Also, when you look at the latest odds from Vegas, Jalen Walker has the 3rd highest odds to be the Raiders' pick at number 6. I think that that's somebody that we need to consider the Raiders are really looking at. And they're looking at him as an edge outside linebacker that's got really high upside and really good characteristic traits. Let's go to Robert Jansen. What up, Jansen? Trade back, draft Membu, Watson, Henderson, then look for wide receiver 1, linebacker, and another corner free safety, then best available. I'll be real. I actually don't think you're going to be able to trade back and draft Membu. There's a part of me that thinks Membu is going to go 4 overall to New England. There's been a lot of hype around it, but if you told me you trade it back, I actually don't think the Raiders would trade back and take Membu. I think if they traded back, it would be more along the lines of a Will Johnson type of player. Maybe they look at Will Campbell in that type of area as well. I like Xavier Watts. I like Trevion Henderson. If you told me we get both those guys in round 2 from trading back, I'm all in on that. So, Anita Bath. You said you were surprised. How many people were surprised we cut Jack Jones? Is there another player that fits into that category? So a player that if I said, so essentially you're saying, I said Jack Jones wasn't a surprise at all that we ended up cutting him. So you're saying, is there another player that if the Raiders cut him, it would surprise Raider Nation? I guess I'd go with somebody like Zamir White, but I don't even think Zamir White necessarily is somebody that would be all that surprising. Chris Smith, maybe somebody else with Georgia, which I guess that's 2 back-to-back Georgia players. I know that we still need safety depth. Chris Smith might be surprising in that regard. We still need running back depth, but Zamir White's behind Sincere McCormick, and because Dylan Laube had a top 30 visit with Spytech last season, it makes me think that they would probably just keep him instead of Zeus. I guess I'm going to go Zamir White and Chris Smith. Let's go to God, Family, and Raiders for Life. What's good, Mitch? Do me a solid. Check out edge from Morgan State, Elijah Williams. This kid is a sleeper that I haven't heard any talk about. All right. Hey, if you're telling me to do some homework on a guy, I am never afraid to do homework on a guy, and I think people that watch the show can see my draft development from, 2 months ago to a month ago now, where I'm pretty confident in maybe 80 to 90 to 100 players. By next week, I'm probably going to be up to about 120, 150. And then come draft time, I'm hoping that I'm somewhere around 200, but it's not always easy to do. I will do some homework, though, on a Morgan State Elijah Williams. Let's go to Bad Driver. Man, I love the coverage. If you all love the coverage, hit that subscribe button. I got to ask, what teams can you see picking Ashton Jeanty before the Raiders? I really don't see any teams picking Jeanty before the Raiders. I do think, though, that the Chicago Bears are a very interesting team to potentially trade up and go get him. And if you're asking me Jacobs or Jeanty, I would say both. Both are good running backs. Jeanty, though, is the better overall prospect than Jacobs. But I think that also should show you how good I'm anticipating Jeanty can be. Let's go to Painter. Do you still think that the Raiders signed Tyler Lockett? I do still think that the Raiders signed Tyler Lockett. And if I was a guy like Lockett, who I'm 33 years old, and I feel like I said this last week on a show where if I was Lockett, I would wait until after the draft. I would wait till the NFL draft is over, and then I would try to go out and sign with a team, because after the draft, there's going to be certain teams that are a little bit more desperate than others. But then also, if I was Lockett, the number one team that I'd want to go play for is the Las Vegas Raiders, because I know there's going to be a need for me there. I know I have a connection with Geno Smith. I know I have a connection with Pete Carroll. And, you're living in Vegas, so the tax is a little bit lower. 1 year prove-it deal. Let's frickin' run it. Any news on Renfrow or Lockett? No. It's been very, very quiet. I haven't heard anything in regards to Renfrow. The last time I heard, Renfrow had some other visits apparently. Hasn't really been reported, though. The only teams that I know Renfrow has visited with are the Carolina Panthers and the Las Vegas Raiders. But if I had to pick between Renfrow and Lockett, let's be honest, it's Tyler Lockett, which is kind of an interesting question here. Who do you think is a better wide receiver? And the reason why I'm going to ask this one is because if you think Trey Tucker is better than Tyler Lockett, there's no need to go out and get Tyler Lockett. And I'm serious when I say that. If you think that Lockett is better than Trey Tucker, though, I want you to type Lock, and I do think that Lockett is better. And one of the other reasons why I've said multiple times that I want the Raiders to go out and get Lockett is because I think that Trey Tucker can be special. I just think that he needs the right moldy or bridge wide receiver, I guess, in a way. But Trey Tucker also is going to be able to provide, I think, some special teams value with some of these new kickoff punt return rules. And Trey Tucker, also a former wrestler. So that's somebody that is a tough mother effer. Let's go to Jasoa. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I don't care if it's not the smartest pick. I want Jeanty at 6 more than anything. Watched him multiple times this season, and he runs through grown men like nobody I've ever seen. I guess my only question is, how many grown men has he run through? Because realistically, there's not many grown men that are playing college football. And that's just the truth, right? Like, you look at how big a player is in college compared to how much they develop into a grown man when they are 24, 25, 26, 27, 30 years old. It's just much different of a human being, and that's just a cold, hard fact. But you should care, because you should want to go with the smartest pick. This almost just sounds like you're more of an Ashton Jeanty fan than a Raiders fan, which I don't want to fall into I'm rooting. There's too many people that like Derek Carr more than they like the Raiders. I think Jeanty is a good pick. And if the Raiders end up going Jeanty, I'm going to be okay with it. There's a lot of picks that the Raiders can go with at number 6, but I care about what's smartest for the Raiders, not just the player that you want because you watched him. Jeanty can be special, but you got to go with the smartest pick. And maybe it's Jeanty. Maybe it's not. I don't know what it is. Shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time, the official ticketing sponsor of the Raiders Report. And they are hooking up Raider Nation, and I'm hoping that y'all take advantage of this deal. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Promo code ChatSports for $20 off. And you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code ChatSports. That's ChatSports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Now, if you do plan on going out to Las Vegas, we were talking about WrestleMania. We've talked about the Las Vegas Golden Knights. There's a lot of different things that you can do in Vegas. There's a lot of different things that you can do in a bunch of different cities that you're visiting. And if you are going to visit a new city, I hope that you take advantage of some of the deals that Game Time has available to you. Probably one of my favorite things about Game Time is the Game Time picks. which you can actually save up to 60% off by buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and a whole lot more. Game Time Picks has last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. So because of Game Time, I know for me personally, and we talk a lot about different sponsors here on the show, the number one selling point of why I would tell anybody to go to Game Time, it's the place that I trust to get tickets for my most important people in my life. My fiance, my fiance's dad, my dad. Chugs has used the exact same thing for when he got, tickets to Adele for him and Danny. But if you're trying to go to, let's say, WWE, was it SmackDown, WrestleMania? If you're trying to go, which is going to be April 18th, if it was up to me, I would wait until April 18th if I was in Vegas. And that's when I would go on Game Time, and that's when I would try to get my tickets for WrestleMania. Promo code ChatSports. That way, they know we sent you. Let's go to Bad Driver. Man, I love the coverage. I think we already answered this one. Yep. Aaron, we go wide receiver or corner in the second round? It always depends on what they do in the first round. But to me personally, like if you're looking at a wide receiver, I would look at Jaden Higgins. I'll be real. I thought Jalen Newell would be maybe a receiver that we'd be able to get in round 3. I don't know if that's as likely now if you're talking to some of the people that I've talked to. Cornerback, though, you could be looking at a Maxwell Harrison, who they met with recently. You could be looking at Siobhan Revel. You could look at a Trey Amos. A lot of hype around Trey Amos. It really just depends on what they do in round 1. And maybe if they go offense, maybe if it's a running back or an offensive lineman, then you go corner in round 2. Or they just say, F it. We're trying to build around Geno, and they go all in on a wide receiver. Let's go to Raider Jose 650. Are there any surprise post-June 1st cut candidates or someone we can pick up post-June 1st? There will be, and I don't really have a lot of names off the top of my head right now. What I would say might also happen is after the draft, right? When the NFL draft ends, there's going to be certain players that are like, well, wait a minute here. You drafted that guy. I don't like that very much. I'm going to be looking to get out. And like that could happen, right? Where, think about this. If the Raiders were to draft a tight end, and I know that might be something that people go, it's not going to happen. I mean, not a lot of people thought we were going to take Brock Bowers at 13. If the Raiders were to take a tight end this year's draft, I think Michael Mayer might actually be like, all right, I don't really want to be a part of this organization anymore. So those type of scenarios will pop up. They are going to happen. It will be a video that I end up doing. I don't know the names yet, but one of the great parts about the Raiders Report is you're going to get a video every single day, which is why you should subscribe, because we're going to be pumping out a lot of content May, June, and July. Hell, I was just talking the other day about we're going to start doing our Madden watch parties. When the Madden watch parties start rolling in, a lot of people have fun there. But there will be some post-June 1st cuts. There's also going to be a lot of players after the draft that are going to be looking to get out. Let's go to the next question here on the Raiders Report. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in right now to the live show. Over 500 people here in the building. I'm Punchy. Can you explain how draft experts have Sanders as the number 1 quarterback, but have Cam being drafted number 1? I think it's simple. I think it's everybody's draft board is different. There are some people that probably have Sanders as the number 1 QB, but based on their conversations with the Tennessee Titans, the Titans are going to go Cam Ward, right? Like, it's already almost set in stone that Cam Ward's going to be the number 1 player. And, it's if the Titans have their quarterback rankings, if all 31 NFL teams had Shedeur as the number 1 and the Titans had Cam Ward as their number 1, that's all that really matters to the Titans is that he's their number 1. What up, Kai? Kyle Kennard looks like Max. What do you think in the 3rd? I'll do more homework on Kyle Kennard. South Carolina, I've heard he's long, he's lanky. Like, what I look for in a Max Crosby type of prospect are you bendable? And what does your 3-cone look like? And how well do you bend? And how well does your motor go? Because, we had Max Crosby ranked a lot higher than I think a lot of other people did, because I can remember Tom talking about, like, this guy's bend and how, I can even remember Mike Mayock called him Gumby just because of how well he was able to move and bend around. I'll do some homework on Kyle Kennard, but I'm not going to lie. Like, when I'm looking in, like, the 3rd past then, I haven't really been looking at many edge rushers just because I don't really know where the Raiders are going to take an edge, because I feel like our defensive line is already pretty set in stone. Let's go to Ja'Cory Green. Who is a player the nation is sleeping on that could surprise us this year? I mean, if Jordan Meredith starts, Jordan Meredith has got to be a name to keep in mind. He was really solid last season. How about this? This might be a weird one. Kyle Phillips. Like, Kyle Phillips was the very first recruit for Chip Kelly. So there's probably some, like, value in that. And, again, like, you think about the moves that the Raiders have made. They went out and they got Alex Kappa early on. Even before that, they went out and they got Kyle Phillips, who can play a little bit of slot for you. I would say on top of that, Raheem Mostert, he had 21 touchdowns in 2023, and I do think he fits pretty well with what this offense is trying to do. Off the top of my head, I say those are some pretty good names. Let's go to Elijah. What up, man? If the Raiders are truly in win-now mode, who's the pick at number 6? If the Raiders are really, truly in win-now mode, I would say Armin Membu, Will Campbell, Ashton Genty would be the picks that I would probably end up going with at number 6. Or the number one thing I want the Raiders to do, trade back. I am so much team trade back, and even if, and I mean this, even if the value isn't typically what the Raiders could get, if you told me we could trade back from 6 to 9 and I want another second-round pick, but we're only able to get a third, I'm okay with it. And I say that because I think that, you still could get Genty at 9. You still could get Armin at 9. You still could get Will Campbell at 9. You can still get Will Johnson at 9 or wherever they end up picking. I just want the Raiders to try to get another pick in the second or try to get another pick in the third round because I do think it's important for this year's draft. Now, if I missed your question, I apologize. You can always hit me up on Instagram or on Twitter. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I'm rocking a new Raiders Report hat, which we're going to be giving away some Raiders Report hats leading up to the NFL draft, and also on draft night, we're going to be giving away some awesome Raiders Report swagger. So if you're a diehard Chat Sports Raiders Report fan, you better pull up to the NFL draft because you're going to get the picks before you see them on TV. Hundreds of thousands of people each day. It's going to be a good time. 21-plus hours those 3 days live here on the Raiders Report.